having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit ActiveDay.com to apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
In Texas, a Department of Justice worker is arrested for allegedly slipping an abortion drug into his pregnant girlfriend's drink. In Louisiana, a father faces murder charges after leaving his 1-year-old daughter in a hot car for 9 hours after a drinking binge. And in Kentucky, a man is arrested for releasing a raccoon inside of a bar after he was banned entry. These crime stories dominated the headlines this week, and we have our comments on those stories and more today on CrimeWire Weekly. I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly Jennings.
And it is Father's Day weekend. So before we get started, I want to wish all of my fellow dads a very happy Father's Day.
Absolutely. And I want to wish my sweet husband happy Father's Day. Thank you for being my baby daddy.
Oh, Lord. We're going to start off with not a good father here in Louisiana first. A Louisiana father was charged with second-degree murder after allegedly leaving his 21-month-old daughter inside a hot car for more than 9 hours. Joseph Boatman, who is 32 of Hammond, was arrested this past Sunday after the child died outside a home. This was in Madisonville. Detectives with the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit learned that Boatman had strapped the toddler into her car seat inside the vehicle after picking her up from a family member's residence. This was shortly after 2:30 a.m. Sunday, which was the first thing that kind of stood out to me. That's a heck of a time to pick up your daughter. After strapping the toddler into the car seat, Boatman goes back inside the residence, and he never returned to the vehicle. It was also learned that prior to that, Boatman had consumed multiple alcoholic beverages. Police said they responded to this home shortly before noon on Sunday after a family member located the girl unresponsive inside that vehicle. Temperatures in the area around that time were above 90 degrees. The St. Tammany Parish Sheriff, Randy Smith, said, quote, "This is a devastating loss that no family ever wants to face. When a child is left in a vehicle, especially on a day when the heat index climbs to over 100 degrees, the outcome can turn deadly in just a matter of minutes. This case involved compromised judgment, and the result was heartbreaking." Now, the website noheatstroke.com actually tracks the deaths of children inside hot cars in the United States, and it said this was the 5th instance this year already, and we're early into summer. There's been a case in New Mexico, California, Maryland, and New Jersey. And the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on its website a child's body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's. When a child is left in a vehicle, that child's temperature can quickly rise, and the situation can quickly become very dangerous. What I would term a horrific statistic. In 2024, 39 children died of heat strokes in vehicles. That was up 35% from 2023. So going the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's terrible. Not that animals in any way are in comparison to human lives, but just yesterday, I let my pups outside to use the bathroom. They were outside maybe 20 minutes, and when I came back, one of my little Frenchies was panting really hard and kind of struggling. I mean, it was that hot, and that was not enclosed, and that was on a patio with fans on. And I brought her in, and I had to lay her down, and I got ice packs even to kind of cool her down, which they're known, for that type of situation. But to think of how that child suffered in that car, could not get out. That's something that's torturous. That's absolutely torturous. All right, well, let's go on to Texas, Jim. And the Justice Department worker was charged with capital murder for allegedly slipping an abortion drug into his pregnant girlfriend's drink without her consent, forcing her to lose her baby. Justin Banta, which is a 38-year-old information technology staffer, was taken into custody Friday following an incident that unfolded at a coffee shop in, I guess that's Tarrant County. The victim reported that her boyfriend intentionally added Plan C, commonly known as the abortion drug, to her drink in order to force her to have an abortion without her knowledge or consent, police said. And look, guys, I wasn't familiar with Plan C. I'm not even going to lie. So I had to look this one up. And there is a difference between Plan B and Plan C. Plan B is an emergency contraceptive that prevents pregnancy, while Plan C is the one that's used to terminate an existing pregnancy. So I wanted to explain that if you weren't familiar either. In addition to a capital murder charge from the Texas Rangers, Banta was booked on one count of tampering with physical evidence. The victim told investigators that she and Banta were in a romantic relationship in September of 2024 when she discovered that she was pregnant. Now, this is a police quote. The victim informed Banta of the pregnancy, who proposed to cover the cost of an abortion and suggested they order the Plan C online. The victim informed Banta of her desire to keep the baby, police added. On October 17, 2024, when the victim was approximately 6 weeks pregnant, she went for a sonogram where she learned that the baby had a strong heartbeat, displayed good vital signs, and was said to be healthy by her doctor. The woman said that she then met with Banta at a coffee shop later that day, and Banta gave her a drink he purchased prior to her arrival. Security camera footage showed she consumed the entire beverage. The next day, the victim stated she began to suffer from extreme fatigue and heavy bleeding, prompting her to visit the emergency room. The victim reported she lost her baby on October the 19th, which she believed was a result of the drugs Banta had previously placed in her drink at the coffee shop without her permission, and that was from the Parker County Sheriff's Office. Police said they interviewed Banta and collected his cell phone as evidence. During the interview, Banta admitted to buying the abortion pills on his phone and said he knew investigators wanted to talk to him about the woman's miscarriage. Sheriff's investigators believe Banta, who works at the IT department of the U.S. Department of Justice, later accessed the phone remotely and performed a reset, thereby deleting crucial evidence related to the case. Banta was released from the Parker County Jail on Friday after posting a $500,000 bond for the capital murder charge and a $20,000 bond for the evidence tampering charge.
I'll tell you what, one of the most
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway. Because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
horrific stories that I've ever come across is that one right there as you were reading it. That is absolutely disgusting. He basically killed. He did. He committed feticide. This lady apparently wanted to have this child, and he slips her a pill to kill the child. Absolutely disgusting.
But, there's a case of this. There's a famous Forensic Files, if anybody here watches them. And I should do an episode on this one. But I believe it was in Canada that there was a doctor. His name was Maynard something. And he had a wife and was messing around with this other woman who got pregnant. And then they caught the same thing happened. He slipped her the pill. Okay, he's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she told police. Police didn't believe her. And so she ended up setting up her own camera in a little firefighter figurine. And he came over again and caught him on camera slipping another pill. It's called Cytotec, which is used to soften the cervix.
Wow.
And that he did the exact same thing. So not unheard of, but definitely devious and completely and totally uncalled for.
All right. Now, last week we told you about a breaking news story. It was regarding the manhunt for a father in Washington State. He was wanted for the murder of his 3 children. And we're going to give you an update on that manhunt. So as of this recording, Travis Decker is still evading capture, but his days may be numbered. The U.S. Marshal Service has activated its elite, rapidly advanced manhunt program. Its acronym is RAM, and this program is in an urgent search for Travis Decker. The RAM program is designed to expedite the capture of violent fugitives through real-time intelligence coordination and rapid deployment of specialized teams. So at this point, more than 100 officers from federal, state, and local agencies are actively involved in this manhunt. And these tactics include aerial surveillance, they have tracking dogs, and backcountry patrols. And the Marshal Service is actually offering a $20,000 reward for information directly related to Decker's arrest. Now, the U.S. Marshals' continued involvement comes as the Sheriff's Office confirmed that they have assumed the role of the lead investigative agency in these girls' killings. In a clarification issued Wednesday, the department shared that the Wenatchee, this is a tough one to say, Wenatchee?
Let me see.
Police Department? Wenatchee Police Department is no longer the lead agency in the killings. And if y'all want to crucify me on Facebook, have at it, baby. I've got big shoulders. The shift in jurisdiction comes as the investigation continues to focus on rugged wilderness areas within the county where Decker was last seen. And that's a lot of the problem with locating this guy is the terrain is just treacherous. This is Washington State, very mountainous type area. And so there's a lot of hiding spots, quite frankly. On Tuesday, June 10th, authorities announced they were zeroing in on the Army veteran. So apparently Monday, June 9th, the agency received a tip from a group of hikers. And they said they saw a man who appeared kind of evasive when they saw him, looked like he didn't want to be seen. He looked very unprepared for hiking, if you will, and he was near what's known as Ingalls Creek and the Valley High areas. And it was very late at night. As you can imagine, a lot of these escapes, they move at night because of obvious reasons. I'm going to quote here the sheriff's office. They said they recently received a tip from a hiking party who stated they spotted a lone hiker who appeared to be ill-prepared for trail in weather conditions and appeared to be avoiding others. Authorities subsequently acted on that tip, and they did spot a lone off-trail hiker from a helicopter. He was near a lake, and he ran from that site when the helicopter passed. Search teams were able to establish a trail, and they deployed several canines, throughout the area that led them to Ingalls Creek, which he probably jumped in the creek and got the scent off of him, right? The wooded area is located approximately 30 miles from what's known as Rock Island Campground, and that is where the bodies of Decker's 3 daughters, Peyton 9, Evelyn 8, and Olivia 5, were found on June 2nd. So as we reported to you on last Friday's episodes, these bodies were found 3 days after they did not return to their mother following a court-approved visit with Decker. And authorities have noted that Decker is a former Army infantryman and he has survival skills. He may have used his rugged survival skill tactics to evade capture. Authorities previously described him as dangerous, warning residents not to approach him and describing him as armed. Quote, "This is someone with military training who's lived off the grid before. We're dealing with a highly capable survivalist who may be using the terrain to his advantage." That from the sheriff, Mike Morrison. So, KJ, with all this technology these days, how does anyone stay on the run this long?
Well, hell, ask New Orleans because they're still looking for those two that got out of the jail. You know, this is not like the movies. This is not where, you know, you just go up in a helicopter, shoot some heat flare, and oh, look, there's somebody moving. It's way more complicated than that. And also, where do you even start to search in that area? Lots of manpower, lots of time. The dogs can get a scent, and then that scent, like, you know, he hits the waterway, well, then the scent is cut. So even if he picks up on the other side, that again is another whole, you know, bag of worms when they get over there, and then they have to pick up on a scent and try to go. And dogs aren't infallible. There is a fallibility rate where they're not always going to be perfect. People aren't perfect. And so this is really going to have to come down to sightings, I think, and locating that area, making it smaller, triangulate, you know, making it smaller and smaller until they finally can get him. But if he's been living in that area off the grid, then he knows it well.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the bigger issues, I'd say.
And it complicates things a lot that, you know, as I said, the terrain is not, I mean, this guy ain't hiding in the middle of Baton Rouge, you know,
right.
a urban area where, you know, all your side streets and it's real easy to spot somebody. I mean, picture being in the middle of just nothingness, and that's where he's at. So you're right. I mean, it's going to come down to someone actually spotting him. The frustrating thing is they saw him.
Yeah.
They had him. The helicopter had a bead on him, and he slipped through the cracks. And I'm sure no one's more frustrated than the police are right now that there was a good shot at him. But look, you can't stay out there forever. You're going to run out of food eventually.
He seems to be so mentally ill at this point based on everything that I've read. And even the mom before this happened, or when the kids were still missing, was saying, you know, he was a good dad. He loved his kids. He was involved until he broke. And so I'm not convinced this will end very well.
Yeah, I'm not either. This will probably be one of those shootout situations, if I'm guessing.
Either that or maybe he'll just go until he can't anymore because he's just not
after what he did. Screw him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not pressed either way. All right, let's move on to Arkansas. Grant Hardin, an escaped Arkansas inmate known as the Devil in the Ozarks, has been taken into custody. The Izard County Sheriff's Office this past Friday said Hardin is a convicted murderer and rapist, and he was reported missing from prison on May 25th. Hardin was taken into custody by county authorities just a short distance from the North Central Unit in Calico Rock. The Arkansas Department of Corrections said Hardin managed to escape by impersonating a law enforcement official. He passed off as one in dress manner, caused the corrections officer operating a secure gate to open the gate and allow inmate Hardin to walk away from the North Central Unit. Board of Corrections member Benny Magnus said Hardin was captured about a mile from the unit in the woods with the help of specialized Border Patrol units. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders said Arkansas can be relieved that he is caught. Thanks to the great work of local, state, and federal law enforcement, Arkansas can breathe a sigh of relief, and I can confirm that violent criminal Grant Hardin is back in custody, Sanders said. I'm grateful for all law enforcement who contributed to his capture and give special thanks to the Trump administration and Secretary Kristi Noem, who sent a team from Border Patrol that was instrumental in tracking and apprehending Hardin. A 2023 television documentary titled Devil in the Ozarks drew national attention to Hardin. Hardin had been serving a 30-year sentence for murder in the fatal shooting of 59-year-old James Appleton, for which he was arrested in 2017, and he was also serving a 50-year sentence for raping an Arkansas elementary school teacher in 1997. What you think?
I think that it's pretty good that we actually have one that got caught after covering one still on the loose. And look, Grant Hardin is stone cold murderer, period, and rapist. But I mean, this guy will kill you as quick as look at you. What made him so dangerous on the run? Keep in mind, he's a former chief of police. He knows how law enforcement works. Yep. And so it made him difficult to catch to start with. The way that he escaped, total black eye for the state of Arkansas. I mean, you put on a freaking uniform and walk right out the front door. You didn't jump a gate. Yeah. Someone opened it for you. And this is a very high profile inmate. This is not somebody that was arrested for jaywalking. This is a guy that was a chief of police. He dominated the Arkansas headlines. You think we're here in Louisiana, it would be equivalent to Derek Todd Lee being let out of jail. Yeah. I mean, how the hell he got out? Yeah, and I'm crazy.
I'm curious about this too, because I mean, we have what's called out of area in prisons and jails. I mean, there's an area you're allowed to be in, and it seems like not only was he out of area, number one, number two, where you got that uniform from? There's going to be more to this. There's going to be more.
Well, it was from what I understand, it was homemade. He made it.
Yeah, but officer uniforms in no way, shape, or form will resemble what an inmate wears. Mm-hmm. So how he got anything that would even resemble an officer, where did that come from? Because all inmates, for example, at Angola, your inmates are going to be in like this chambray blue top or a white T-shirt and jeans. Or they may be they have clubs out there. They might be in a club T-shirt or something like that. But they're not going to be in a button-down, blue, starched with a patch uniform. Mm-hmm. It's nowhere near the same. And so I am curious to know, how was he in that area? I mean, it sounds like he walked out into a sally port. Is that what it was? And operating a secure gate to open the gate to allow? Yeah. So
let him out.
Either completely and totally inept employees. And another thing is, based on my experience in jails, because there's so many employees and sometimes they're so large, they'll have employee boards up on the wall, and they'll have pictures with names of employees, and you can kind of validate. So this was absolute lapse in security, and they better have a talking to with those employees.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm sure some policies going to change, and some heads are going to roll over that situation. We're glad to see Grant Hardin back behind bars. Look, I research and cover a lot of crime. And when I came across this, I'm like, the lengths people will go to over a divorce is just amazing. Wait till you hear this. An Alabama chiropractor. He is accused of attempting to kill his wife by lacing her pills with lead. And he is insisting he was also a victim of being poisoned. So let me tell you about it.
Hey everyone, CrimeWire Weekly has moved to its own new channel.
We hope you've enjoyed this preview. To continue listening, please follow the link referenced in the description of this podcast.
Or simply search CrimeWire Weekly wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to follow the show so you can be alerted when new episodes drop.
Thanks for listening.
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin? I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.